Welcome to TrueStars Stories, where unbelievable journeys turn into powerful realities. Today we dive into a dramatic and inspiring story, the journey of a single mom who was laughed out of a meeting, dismissed as if she had no worth, yet rose to build a billion-dollar empire that the whole world now admires. Across 8 gripping chapters, you'll witness tears and laughter, bitter failures that became stepping stones to incredible success. You'll see how one woman, armed with nothing but determination and faith, turned humiliation into triumph, rising from being looked down on to sitting at the throne of an empire. This story will make you angry, it will make you cheer, and most of all, it will inspire you to believe that nothing is impossible. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you won't miss more powerful and dramatic stories like this. And join us on this unforgettable journey of a single mom turning her dream into reality. In a sleek downtown boardroom, the fluorescent lights glared cold and harsh, as if they were designed to expose every flaw, every wrinkle. Surrounded by expensive suits and shiny shoes, a woman sat quietly, almost out of place. She didn't wear designer jackets or glittering jewelry. The only things she carried were an old scratched laptop and a thick stack of notes. She was a single mom, barely in her 30s, named Anna. Anna stood up, voice trembling at first, then steadier with each word. She pitched the startup idea she had spent months perfecting. A bold retail model, practical, disruptive, and brimming with potential. But the response she got wasn't curiosity. It was laughter. One of the men at the front, a notorious shark investor, smirked and said loudly enough for everyone to hear, "Sounds cute. But you're a single mom, right? Do you really think you can be a CEO? Or are you planning to change diapers while signing billion-dollar contracts?" The room erupted with laughter, as if they were watching a comedy show instead of a business pitch. Anna stood frozen, her heart pounding. Heat rushed to her face. She bit her lip, fighting back tears. In her mind, a voice whispered, "Don't cry. That's what they want. Don't give them that." She paused, then looked the man dead in the eye. Her voice wasn't loud, but it was steady. "I can raise a child and build a company. And one day, you'll wish you had invested in me when you had the chance." Silence fell for a moment. Then the room burst into even louder laughter. They called her a dreamer, naive, delusional. Some didn't even bother looking at her anymore, scrolling on their phones instead. But what they didn't know was that in that very moment, amid humiliation and mockery, Anna made herself a promise. "I'll turn this humiliation into fuel. One day, they'll be the ones sitting in my boardroom. And they won't be laughing anymore." That was the spark. The beginning of a billion-dollar empire, born out of a room full of cruel laughter. Anna walked out of the boardroom, the echo of laughter still chasing her down the hall. The heavy glass door slammed shut behind her, as if to declare that the comedy show was over. But for Anna, it was only the beginning. She strode quickly down the long hallway, clutching her old laptop like it was the only ally she had left. A few employees glanced at her, curious, maybe even pitying. To them, she was just another young woman with bright eyes, crushed by a few cruel words. Outside, the cold wind hit her face. Anna sank onto the stone steps, exhaling hard. She opened her laptop, staring at the slides she had poured her soul into. Questions spun in her head. Did I really get it all wrong? Was my idea that bad? Or did they laugh simply because I'm a single mom? Her phone buzzed. A text from the babysitter. "Anna, your daughter has a slight fever. I gave her some medicine. Will you be home soon?" Her chest tightened. She closed her eyes and took a deep breath. "That's right. I don't have the luxury of breaking down. For my daughter, giving up is not an option." Anna stood up, inhaled the city air, and kept walking. Around her, life went on. People rushing, cars honking, no one caring that a single mom had just been laughed out of a meeting. But Anna knew one thing. One day, the world would stop and notice her. And the cruel irony? The very people who mocked her today would one day beg for a chance at her table. On the rickety city bus, Anna sat in silence, watching the city blur past the dusty window. Her laptop rested on her lap, the screen still glowing, but her mind was elsewhere. The echoes of mockery from the boardroom replayed over and over like a cruel parody she couldn't shut off. A single mom wants to be a CEO? Ridiculous. What's next? Changing diapers while raising capital. Her jaw tightened. She gripped the strap of her bag so hard her knuckles turned white. Shame and anger swirled in her chest, but strangely, a spark of fire began to rise. Next to her, an older man in work clothes glanced at the slides still open on her laptop. He smiled kindly. "What are you working on? That idea looks pretty good?" Anna froze for a moment. It was the first time all day someone had said anything other than laughter. She let out a small, bitter laugh. "I just got laughed out of a meeting because of it." The old man shook his head. "You know, people laugh because they're scared of what's new. If you believe in it, don't quit. I've lived long enough to know this. The ones who laugh at others usually leave nothing behind." Anna looked at him, her eyes softening, a faint light returning. The bus rattled on, but inside her chest, something steadied. When the bus stopped, Anna stepped off and inhaled deeply. She typed a note to herself on her phone like a vow. Today they laughed. Tomorrow the world will listen, and with that, she hurried toward the small apartment where her daughter waited, carrying both her pain and a flicker of new resolve in her heart. The small apartment sat on the third floor of an old building. The door creaked open, and immediately a tiny voice rang out, "Mommy!" Emily, just 5 years old, rushed forward, her bright eyes shining even though she still had a slight fever. She threw herself into her mother's arms, and in that instant, the humiliation and exhaustion of the day seemed to melt away. Anna hugged her tightly, breathing in the sweet, familiar scent of her daughter's hair. She smiled, though her eyes burned with tears. Emily looked up and asked softly, "Mommy, are you sad? I saw you crying." Anna quickly brushed away the remaining tears, kneeling to whisper, "I'm not sad, sweetheart. Today, I just learned a lesson. And I promise you, one day, Mommy will build a big company, so big you'll be proud." The little girl nodded, believing her without a doubt. To Emily, her mother was a superhero, and her promises were as real as the stars. That night, after Emily drifted into sleep, Anna sat at the old desk, laptop open once more. Outside, the city lights glowed, but inside that tiny room, a woman rewrote her business plan. Tears still rolled down her cheeks, but mingled with them was the steady flame of faith. She knew the road ahead would be brutal, full of mockery, full of rejection. But as she glanced at her sleeping daughter, Anna whispered, "They can laugh all they want, but I won't stop. Not for them, for you, and for myself." That night, a silent vow was planted, one that would grow into the seed of a billion-dollar empire. The next morning, before the sun even rose, Anna sat at her tiny desk, a cold cup of coffee by her side and a pile of scribbled notes spread out before her. She had barely slept a few hours, yet her eyes burned with an almost defiant determination. She recalculated everything: the bare minimum cost to launch her idea, the capital she'd need, the partners she might recruit. But the numbers danced on the page, mocking her. No money, no connections, no chance. From the bedroom, Emily's alarm went off. Anna got up, threw together a quick breakfast, some bread, a little milk, then walked her daughter to preschool. On the way back, she stopped at a small cafe. Instead of relaxing, she opened her laptop, turning the wobbly wooden table into a makeshift office. The barista watched her curiously, a young mother typing furiously, sometimes whispering to herself as if arguing with invisible numbers. A few customers frowned, maybe thinking she was strange. But Anna didn't care. The laughter from yesterday's boardroom still echoed in her mind, looping like an annoying chorus. But instead of breaking her, she used it as fuel. Fine, let them laugh. I'll show them what a single mom can do. She blasted out emails everywhere, to small-time investors, to old acquaintances, even to startup forums. Most never replied. The few that did called her idea too unrealistic. But Anna didn't stop. She wrote, deleted, rewrote. She hunted for cracks, for slivers of hope. That day, through a storm of rejection, Anna told herself, "I may have nothing, but I have an idea. I have these 2 hands, and I have a daughter waiting for me to succeed. That's enough." The following days slipped by quickly, and so did Anna's savings. Every morning, after dropping Emily off at school, she returned to the same little cafe, turning it into the headquarters of her dream. But every dream needed money to survive. And reality was merciless. Rent, Emily's school fees, utilities, even medicine when her daughter caught a cold, all piled up like a mountain she could barely climb. One afternoon, checking her bank account, Anna froze. The balance read less than $200. She stared at the screen, her chest tightening, a long sigh pressing down on her like a stone. Then the phone rang. It was the landlord. "Anna, I need this month's rent. If not, you know what happens." She tried to explain, promised to figure it out in a few days, but his voice was icy. "Promises don't pay bills, Anna." The line went dead. Anna sat motionless, tears dripping onto her keyboard. She wasn't crying for herself. She was crying because of her greatest fear, that Emily might lose the only safe little home they had. That night, she had to choose, buy supplies for her prototype or buy vitamins for Emily, who was still weak. A mother's heart made the choice. Emily came first. But as she closed the medicine cabinet, Anna clenched her fist and whispered, "It's okay. I can take the pain, but I will not quit. One day Emily will never have to live without." In the darkness, the glow of her laptop lit her tired face once more. Her trembling fingers tapped out a new plan. Each keystroke was a hammer strike against the wall, separating poverty from her dream. The next day, after a sleepless night, Anna decided to try something different. Instead of blasting cold emails to indifferent investors, she posted a message on a small startup forum. It wasn't just about her idea, it was about her story. A single mom, laughed out of a boardroom, yet still clinging to her dream. She typed every word from the heart. No fluff, no polish, just raw truth. At the end, she wrote, "If you've ever been dismissed, ever been laughed at, you'll understand me. I don't have money or power, but I have an idea that can change the market. And I will make it real, no matter what." When she hit post, Anna didn't expect much. She just needed a place to unload the weight in her chest. But hours later, her notifications lit up. Comments started flooding in. At first, simple words of encouragement. "Don't give up. I believe you can do this." Then, a few people asked for more details. By evening, a private message appeared. A name she didn't know, Michael Tran, angel investor. The message was short. "Anna, I read your post. I don't know how far this idea can go, but I believe in your persistence. Meet me next week. I want to hear more." Anna read the message over and over, her heart pounding against her ribs. After all the mockery, all the rejection, finally, someone wanted to listen. She smiled, tears rolling down her cheeks, but this time they were tears of hope. She whispered, "Maybe this is the beginning." A week later, Anna walked into an upscale cafe downtown. Unlike the shabby corner cafe she called her office, this place glowed with warm golden light, the air thick with the aroma of freshly roasted beans, and the room buzzed with sharp-dressed professionals tapping away on sleek laptops and shiny phones. Anna felt a flicker of self-consciousness in her faded old coat, but she inhaled deeply and reminded herself, "I'm not here to show off clothes. I'm here to prove a dream." A man in his early 40s stood up and waved. Michael Tran, tall, dressed in a simple suit but radiating confidence. His face didn't carry the fake politeness of most investors, but a look that said he genuinely wanted to listen. "Anna, good to finally meet you," he said, shaking her hand. The conversation began. At first, Anna's voice trembled. She feared ridicule, another cruel laugh. But Michael didn't mock her. He didn't interrupt. He sat back, nodded, jotted notes. The more she spoke, the stronger she grew. She explained how her idea could slash distribution costs, save customers both time and money. She laid out numbers, scenarios, step-by-step plans. After nearly an hour, Anna stopped, waiting. The entire room seemed to fall silent. Her heartbeat pounding in her ears, Michael leaned back, fingers interlaced. He stayed quiet for a few seconds, then finally said, "Anna, this idea is risky, but I see something most startups don't have. Persistence. I won't write a check right this second, but I'll give you a shot, a small amount of seed money to test your concept. If it shows promise, I'll invest more." Anna's breath caught. Her ears rang, her heart felt like it might burst. Tears welled up, but this time they were tears of hope. "Thank you. Thank you for believing in me," she whispered. Michael nodded once. "Don't thank me. Prove me right." In that moment, beneath the warm cafe lights, the first seed of $1 billion empire was planted, fragile but alive. The money Michael sent wasn't much, just enough to rent a corner in a co-working space and hire one part-time assistant. But to Anna, it felt like a fortune. On her first day in the new workspace, she felt as if she had stepped into promised land. Polished wooden desks, lightning-fast Wi-Fi, and young buzzing startups all around her. A world apart from the shabby cafe corner where she once typed through tears. Anna hung a small whiteboard on the wall and wrote in bold letters, "Nothing is impossible." Then she got to work. Her first hire was a college senior in computer science named David, shy but with sharp, eager eyes. When Anna explained the project, David grinned. "Sounds crazy. But I like this kind of crazy." Together they worked nonstop. By day, Anna called potential customers, persuading one person at a time to try their service. By night, she and David tweaked the website, fixing glitches in the order system. The old laptop whirred and groaned, but fought on beside them like a loyal companion. Still, the first trial was rough. Few customers, many complaints. "Nice idea, but the system's too slow. I tried it. But it's not as convenient as you promised." Anna carefully wrote down every criticism, her notebook scarred with red ink. Some nights, staring at the endless list of problems, her chest tightened. But every time she glanced at Emily sleeping peacefully, she whispered, "It's okay. Tomorrow I'll fix it, and one day you'll see I was right." On the whiteboard, the words, "Nothing is impossible," became her guiding light through the darkest nights. Within just 2 weeks of testing, trouble hit like a storm. The cheap server Anna had rented kept crashing, leaving customers frustrated and angry. David tried patching bugs as best he could, but his limited experience showed. More than once he buried his head in his hands and muttered, "Anna, if this keeps up." "I don't think I can handle it." Anna was exhausted too. By day, she met with potential clients. By night, she reworked the plan. By dawn, she stared at unpaid bills. Her bank account was down to barely $50, and the rent for their tiny office was coming due. One night, after yet another rejection email, David slumped at the desk. "Maybe we should stop. Maybe they were right. This idea's too unrealistic." Anna sat frozen, her eyes fixed on the whiteboard. Nothing is impossible. Her chest ached. For a moment, even she felt the fire inside flicker, close to dying. Then her phone buzzed. A new email. She opened it. It was from a stranger. A woman, the owner of a small shop in the suburbs. The message read, "I heard about your service. I'm tired of paying too much to middlemen. If your system can help me save, I want to try." Anna read the lines over and over. Her weary eyes lit up. She turned to David with a faint smile. "See? Someone needs us. We can't quit." David looked at her, hesitated, then chuckled softly. In his young eyes, the flame reignited. They both knew this opportunity was small, but sometimes all it takes is one first customer to change the course of everything. The day finally came. Anna and David prepared as if facing a life-or-death exam. Their very first customer, Linda, the owner of a small grocery store in the suburbs, had agreed to test their service. They cleaned up their tiny office, printed out contracts, and stress-tested the system at least 10 times to make sure it wouldn't crash. David had pulled 2 all-nighters tweaking the code, eyes bloodshot, surviving on instant noodles and coffee. When Linda walked in, Anna jumped to her feet, her heart racing. The middle-aged woman had a solid frame, brisk steps, and the sharp eyes of someone seasoned in business. Linda crossed her arms, fixing her gaze on Anna. "You're the one who emailed me?" Anna swallowed hard and nodded. "Yes, and thank you for giving us this chance." Linda sat down, glanced around the modest room, and gave a half-smile. "I've given chances to plenty. Few managed to keep them." "All right, show me your system." David pulled up the demo. Every click felt like life or death. The system ran but occasionally stuttered. Anna's heart skipped with each hiccup. Linda watched closely, drumming her fingers on the desk. After a while, she finally nodded. "Not bad. Plenty of bugs, but I see potential. If you're serious, I'll try your service in my shop for 3 months. If it works, I'll recommend you to some friends." Anna nearly burst into tears. She glanced at David, her eyes glowing. He whispered, "We've got our first customer, Anna." In that moment, the cramped little office seemed to glow. They were no longer just two desperate strugglers fighting in the dark. They had their first foothold, and that was enough for Anna to believe she was on the right path. 3 days later, Anna's system went live at Linda's grocery store. It was a gray Monday morning, as if even the sky wanted to test her resolve. Anna and David arrived early, setting up their laptop in a corner of the shop. Linda stood with arms crossed, eyes sharp, like a judge at a competition. Every time a customer walked in, Anna held her breath, praying the system wouldn't crash. The first customer scanned their order. The screen spun, then flashed, "Transaction successful." Anna and David exhaled in relief, but dared not cheer. By the third customer, the system froze. Linda frowned. Anna's heart dropped to the floor. David dove into the code on the spot, sweat dripping from his forehead. Everyone in the shop seemed to be watching. After what felt like an eternity, he looked up. "It's running again." "The sale went through." Linda narrowed her eyes, then let out a small laugh. "At least you two know how to fix things fast." All day long, they battled small glitches, laggy connections, misaligned receipts, a frozen system. But Anna and David refused to quit. They fixed each issue, carefully logging every problem to improve later. By nightfall, Linda locked up the store and turned to them. "Your system is far from perfect. But I saw my sales move faster today. I'll stick with the 3-month trial." "Don't let me down!" Anna nearly collapsed from exhaustion, but inside she was glowing with triumph. This wasn't just a customer. It was proof her dream could work. That night, holding Emily close, Anna whispered, "Today, Mommy sold her dream for the very first time." 3 weeks after Linda began using Anna's system, word started to spread. A few of Linda's friends, owners of small shops in the area, called her curious. "Does that new service of yours really save time and money?" Linda wasn't one to hand out compliments easily, but she replied bluntly, "Plenty of bugs, sure. But I sell faster than before. Less time wasted scribbling records. If they keep improving, it's worth trying." Within a month, Anna had 3 more clients. The tiny office suddenly felt cramped. The whiteboard filled with numbers, and the sound of typing echoed day and night. Sometimes Emily sat quietly in the corner, doing her homework, occasionally handing cookies to her mom and David. She didn't fully understand, but the pride in her little eyes was unmistakable. But with more customers came more pressure. The cheap server was straining, crashing often. Clients began to complain. "We're paying for a service, not to sit here waiting for it to freeze." Anna bit her lip, sweat gathering on her forehead. She knew that if trust slipped now, everything could collapse. But upgrading the system required money. Money she didn't have. One evening, after yet another angry email from a new client threatening to cancel, Anna sat staring blankly at her laptop. On the table, her coffee had gone cold, and Emily was fast asleep in a chair. David whispered, "Anna, we need more funding. Otherwise, this all falls apart." Anna closed her eyes, the memory of cruel laughter in that boardroom flashing back. When she opened them, her gaze burned with fire. "Fine, then we go back there, not to beg, but to prove we exist." That night, Anna rewrote her pitch deck. This time, it wasn't just an idea. It was a project with paying customers, with proof it could work. The boardroom, the same one where Anna had once been humiliated, opened before her again. The polished glass doors reflected a different woman now. Tired, yes, but hardened, with eyes burning with belief. Anna stepped inside. No longer the shaky young mom clutching an old laptop, but a founder with real clients. Yet the faces were the same. Sleek suits, smug smirks. A mocking voice rang out, "Well, well." The single mom dreamer returns. "What's it this time? Discount baby food recipes?" Laughter rippled through the room. The old wound threatened to reopen. But Anna simply smiled. She opened her new laptop, bought with money from her very first contracts. On the screen, Rising sales, satisfied clients, reduced costs. She spoke clearly, firmly. 3 months ago, you laughed at me. But today, my system is already running in 4 stores with hard numbers, 25% faster transactions, 30% lower overhead costs. This is no longer an idea, it's reality. The room quieted. A few pens started scribbling notes. Faces shifted from mockery to consideration. Then another investor snorted, 4 tiny shops? That's your empire? You think that's enough to build anything big? Anna didn't flinch. She met his eyes, her voice sharp as steel. Every empire starts with a first store. The difference is, I didn't quit when you laughed at me. I'm still here. And I'll go further, with or without you. The atmosphere shifted. The laughter stopped. Curiosity crept in. Some investors exchanged glances, weighing her words. Anna ended with a line that silenced the room. I didn't come here to beg for opportunity. I came to show you it already exists. And if you can't see it, someone else will. The doors that once haunted her now opened onto a new chapter, from the woman mocked into silence to the one they could no longer ignore. The room hung in silence. The same investors who once lounged back laughing now sat upright, eyes fixed on the screen. A few flipped through her documents again, scanning every number she had presented. At the far end of the table sat Michael, the one who first gave her a chance. He hadn't spoken yet, just observed with an expression that was equal parts pride and caution. He knew this was a turning point. Anna wasn't just pitching a project, she was proving her worth. An older investor with silver hair finally broke the silence. Young lady, I don't care if you're a single mom or a CEO. I care about numbers. And yours are impressive. But tell me this, what's your plan to scale? 4 shops are easy. 400, that's the real test. Anna drew a deep breath, her heart racing, but her voice was steady. I've mapped the path. Phase 1, stabilize the system. Phase 2, expand into mid-sized chains. Phase 3, partner with major distributors. I won't promise the road will be easy, but I will promise I'll see it through. The room stirred. Some nodded, others frowned thoughtfully. But no one laughed anymore. Michael smiled faintly, then finally spoke. Anna, I believe you have the grit. I'll increase my investment. But I need to know, are you ready for pressure 10 times heavier than this? Anna looked around the room, recalling the mocking stares of the past, then fixed her gaze on Michael. I've lived my whole life under pressure, raising a child while building a dream. If it takes more pressure to make that dream real, then my answer is yes, I'm ready. A round of applause broke out, not loud, not unanimous, but enough for Anna to know she had made them listen. After that scattered applause, the room shifted into a different energy. The investors who once mocked her were now debating seriously, not about a dreaming single mom, but about profits, risks, and market share. A gruff-voiced middle-aged man made the first offer. I'll invest $250,000, but I want 40% of your company. Anna froze. $250,000, unimaginable for her just months ago. But 40% equity? That meant losing nearly all control. Michael's eyes flicked toward her, a silent warning. Anna inhaled deeply, remembering the sleepless nights. Emily curled up beside her, the vow she once whispered, I won't let anyone steal this dream. She smiled, her voice calm but firm. Thank you for the offer, but this company is my soul. I won't sell it that cheap. If someone truly believes in its potential, bring me a fairer deal. Murmurs rippled through the room. Another investor jumped in. Fine, I'll give you $150,000 for 20%. But if you don't reach 50 stores in 6 months, I'm out. Anna paused, weighing it. It was a brutal condition. 6 months, 50 stores. But at least it gave her a fighting chance. Michael leaned toward her, whispering just for her, this is the moment. Take it and step into the real game, or go back to that tiny office with your 4 clients. The room went silent, every eye on Anna. She looked around, then slowly nodded. I accept. 6 months, 50 stores, and I will make it happen. This time the applause was louder, not because they fully believed, but because they respected the courage. That night, Back in her small apartment, Anna hugged Emily tightly and whispered, "Sweetheart, starting tomorrow, Mommy will have to fight 10 times harder. But I promise, we're never going back to where we started." Chapter 4 closed, and with it opened a new path, where the real battle was only beginning. The next day, Anna returned to her tiny office, where the whiteboard still bore the words, "Nothing is impossible." But this time, she didn't see it as encouragement. It was a command. 6 months, 50 stores. The number echoed in her head like a giant ticking clock. David's jaw dropped when he heard the news. "You're saying 6 months, 50 stores? Are you sure? We nearly collapsed just handling 4. Anna smiled, though her smile was tight with tension. "I don't have another choice, David. If we don't, everything vanishes. We have to fight." The days that followed became an endless marathon. Every morning, Anna knocked on doors, mini-marts, family-run shops, corner stores. Most shook their heads. "Sounds interesting, but I don't trust it yet. What if it crashes during rush hour? Who takes the blame?" She patiently answered every question, laid out every number, even offered free trials just to prove it worked. Each rejection cut deep, but Anna kept smiling, kept moving forward. At night, she and David hunched over laptops, fixing bugs, refining the system, calling past clients to keep them on board. Many nights, the clock struck 3 a.m., and they were still arguing over code optimizations. Emily would be asleep on the office sofa, her blanket slipping, and Anna would pause only to tuck it back over her daughter before returning to work. The weight of pressure bore down, but Anna knew there was no turning back. Every time exhaustion tempted her to quit, she remembered the laughter in that boardroom, remembered Emily's warm hug, and she rose again. The 6-month countdown had begun, and Anna vowed, "If they're waiting to see me fail, I'll make sure they see the opposite." After nearly a month of nonstop hustling, Anna had finally signed 10 more stores. Still far from the goal of 50, but enough to prove her system was gaining traction. Every time a new contract was inked, David would cheer like a kid winning a video game, while Anna would simply exhale, her smile lined with exhaustion. She knew small victories were only preludes to much bigger battles. Then one afternoon, just as Anna was preparing to sign her first chain of mini-marts, the blow came. A major tech company launched a similar service, backed by massive advertising. Billboards shouted in bold letters, "Faster, cheaper, backed by a billion-dollar giant." Anna's heart sank. She knew this was no longer about petty mockery in boardrooms. This was a giant, one that could swallow her whole without even noticing. Almost immediately, 2 of her new clients called. "Anna, we just saw Company X's service. They're promising 20% cheaper rates. Can you guarantee anything better?" Anna sat frozen, gripping the phone. The world seemed to collapse around her all over again. David looked at her, panic in his voice. "Anna, if that corporation's in the game, we're finished." But Anna didn't answer right away. She rose, walked to the whiteboard, and drew a bold line under the words, "Nothing is impossible." Then she turned back, her voice firm. "We can't beat them on money, but we can beat them on what they don't have, understanding small businesses one by one. They see profit margins. We see people." In her eyes burned a new fire. The giant might have money, but she had something else, persistence, and the trust of clients who believed in her, not in a flashy logo. The following days were a battlefield. The small stores Anna had just signed were bombarded with offers from the big corporation. Lower prices, sleeker systems, entire support teams. It was tempting, dangerously tempting. One evening, Linda, the very first client, called Anna. Her voice was blunt, no sugarcoating. "Anna, I'll be honest. They sent me an offer. If I switch to their system, I'll save at least $500 a month. For a shop my size, that's huge. So tell me, what are you going to do?" The question cut deep. Anna bit her lip, then replied slowly, firmly, "Linda, I can't promise to be cheaper than them, but I can promise I'll always be there when you need me. When the system crashes, it'll be me and David running to fix it, not some faceless call center. When you struggle, we'll adapt to your needs, not force you into a template. I'm not selling a service. I'm selling partnership. Silence lingered. Then Linda chuckled softly. You've got guts. I like that. Fine. I'm staying. And I'll tell others this. If they want cheap, they can go to the corporation. But if they want someone real by their side, they'll go to Anna. That small victory spread like wildfire. The corporation could drown the market in ads, but Anna held her ground by offering something they never could, turning clients into allies. David shook his head, half in disbelief, half in admiration. You're crazy, but maybe it's exactly this kind of crazy that'll save us. Anna smiled, though she knew deep down, the real war had only just begun. Keeping Linda and a handful of loyal clients wasn't enough. Anna knew that. 6 months, 50 stores. The number hung over her like a blade. Step by step would never be fast enough. That night, while David slept slumped over the desk, Anna stared at her laptop, crunching numbers. Then she smiled faintly. A bold idea struck. Instead of chasing one shop at a time, she'd aim for mid-sized chains where one deal could multiply their reach overnight. The next morning, she gathered the small team. Her voice was steady, eyes fierce. We can't afford ads, but we have something better, a story. We'll turn our customers into proof. Linda and everyone who believes in us, they'll be our voice. She began arranging meetings with chain store owners, but this time, she didn't go alone. She brought Linda with her. In one pitch, when the owner leaned back, skeptical, Linda slammed her hand on the table. You want ads or you want truth? I've used Anna's service. My shop saved thousands in 3 months. I'm not paid to say this. I'm saying it because she doesn't abandon her customers. That testimony carried more weight than any slide deck. Within 2 weeks, Anna closed a deal with a chain of 12 stores. Her total shot up to 26, more than halfway there. David clutched his head, half panicked, half thrilled. Anna, you're insane. But maybe this kind of insane is exactly what works. Anna's smile was tired, her voice hoarse, but her eyes burned bright. We're not just racing a corporation. We're proving to the world a single mom can build an empire. Within a single month, Anna's client base shot from 26 to 38 stores. The number was both a badge of pride and a living nightmare. The cheap server wheezed like it might explode, the system crashing during peak hours. Anna's phone buzzed nonstop, shops complaining, customers yelling, staff panicking. David worked through the nights, eyes bloodshot, fingers trembling over the keyboard. One evening, just as Anna tucked Emily into bed, her phone rang again. Linda's voice screamed through the line, Anna! The system crashed at peak hour. I lost hundreds in sales. What are you going to do about this? Anna's chest sank. She rushed to the office where David sat in a tangle of wires, his laptop burning hot. Anna, I don't know if I can hold it together. This server, it's maxed out, he said, his voice breaking. For a moment, Anna froze. The pressure was crushing. 6 months, 50 stores. She had come too far to stop. But if the system collapsed, it was all over. She steadied herself, placed a hand on David's shoulder. No, we're not collapsing. Keep it alive for a few more days. I'll handle the rest. That night, Anna wrote an email to Michael, the one investor who had believed in her. It wasn't just a plea. It was a declaration. Michael, we must upgrade the system immediately or everything falls apart. I'm not asking for charity. I'm asking for the chance to prove we can beat the giant. When she hit send, Anna leaned back, eyes closed. She knew if Michael said no, it was the end. But if he said yes, it would be the biggest leap of her life. The next morning, Anna sat in her usual cafe, gripping a cold cup of coffee. Every minute dragged like an hour. She refreshed her inbox over and over, praying for Michael's reply. Finally, her phone buzzed. A new email. Anna, meet me at 2 p.m., same office. We need to talk. At exactly 2, Anna walked into the boardroom once filled with mocking laughter. This time, only Michael sat there, his face stern. He folded his arms, studying her before he spoke. I read your email. I know you're desperate. But before I throw in more money, I need one honest answer. Why should I believe you can beat a billion-dollar corporation? They have money, technology, people. You've got faith and a few dozen stores. Anna swallowed hard, but her gaze didn't waver. She remembered the frantic calls, Linda defending her, Emily asleep in the office. All of it fueled her voice. Because I'm not just selling a service. I'm selling trust. My clients don't stay because I'm cheaper. They stay because I treat them as allies. A corporation can buy ads, but it can't buy loyalty. And I'll turn that loyalty into the power to scale. Michael sat in silence, brow furrowed, fingers drumming on the table. Then he smirked faintly. Not a bad answer. But I don't invest in speeches. I'll give you a challenge. I'll put in $100,000 to upgrade the system, but within 1 month, you must double your store count. If not, it's over, Anna's breath caught. 1 month, from 38 stores to 76. Nearly impossible, but she knew it was her only chance. She met his eyes, voice unwavering. I accept the challenge. Michael chuckled, shaking his head. You're insane, but maybe that's exactly the kind of insane that builds an empire. Right after her meeting with Michael, Anna returned to the office with fire in her eyes and a voice sharp with resolve, like someone who had just received a death sentence, yet also found her path to survival. She gathered her tiny team, just 3 people, Anna, David, and a newly recruited intern. On the whiteboard, she scrawled in bold letters, 38, 76, 1 month. David stared at the number, almost laughing bitterly. You're insane. It took us a whole month just to add 12 stores. Now you expect to double in 4 weeks? Impossible. Anna turned, her gaze like a blade. Impossible? Then walk away. In this room, there's only one rule. Win or die. Silence. David swallowed hard, then nodded. He knew she wasn't bluffing. Anna laid out the plan. Strategy 1. Turn clients into ambassadors. Every store already using the system would be encouraged to refer others. Successful referrals earned them discounts. Strategy 2. Target small to mid chains. No more chasing one shop at a time. One deal could multiply their numbers overnight. Strategy 3. Extreme customer care. No call centers, no waiting. Every client call would go directly to Anna or David. Day 1. They split tasks, calls, emails, door-to-door visits. Anna rode her scooter across the city, clutching stacks of brochures, her legs aching. At night, she still answered client messages, phone in one hand, feeding Emily with the other. Some nights, David passed out on the keyboard, while Anna downed 3 cups of coffee just to keep going. Each time her eyelids drooped, she glanced at the 76 on the board and whispered, I can't stop. Days blurred in chaos, but the count started to climb. 42, 45, 50. The closer they got, the heavier the pressure. But for Anna, that pressure was fuel, pushing her faster, harder. After just 3 weeks, the number on the whiteboard had climbed to 72. The team was exhausted, but raw determination kept them going. Anna had turned the tiny office into a war zone. Days spent chasing clients, nights patching code with David, while little Emily played assistant, handing out water and cookies. But the closer they got, the fiercer the storm. On a Monday morning, disaster struck, the entire system crashed. Not one store, every store. Phones lit up like sirens. Messages poured in. Shops panicked as transactions froze and lines of customers piled up. David shouted from his desk, Anna! The server's overloaded! It can't take any more! Anna rushed over, her vision blurring from sleeplessness. She gripped David's shoulders. Keep it alive! Just a few more days, we can't stop now. As they fought the system, another blow landed. The giant corporation launched a massive campaign targeting Anna's weakness directly. Absolute stability. Never crashes, several clients called, their voices icy. If you don't fix this now, we're switching. The room was suffocating. Sweat poured, keyboards clattered furiously. In the chaos, Emily woke up, toddled over, wrapped her arms around her mother's leg, and whispered, Mommy, don't give up. Anna knelt, hugged her tight. Tears burned her eyes, but she swallowed them back and whispered, No, sweetheart. I won't give up. I promise. Then she rose, returning to the glowing screens, battling through the night with David. The office blazed with light, a fragile flame holding out against the storm. Stores. 4 to go. And the whole world waiting to see if a single mom would collapse or create a miracle. That night, the system kept freezing and crashing. David slumped over the desk, eyes bloodshot, whispering like a man about to collapse. Anna. I can't hold it anymore. It's dying. Anna was drained too, but she stayed on her feet. She clutched her head, searching desperately for a way out. Then her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. I heard your company's system is crashing. I used to be an engineer at Company X. If you need help, I can come now. No charge. I hate how they crush the little guys. Anna froze. She read the message twice, then replied instantly. Please come. Our office is open all night. Half an hour later, a young man walked in. My name's Daniel. I worked on servers at that corporation. I know exactly where they'll hit you. Let me help. There was no time for doubt. Anna nodded. Daniel sat beside David, his fingers flying across the keyboard. Code streamed down the screen, diagnostics flashing. Within hours, he had shifted the system to a temporary but far more stable solution. David's eyes lit up as he stared at the screen. God, the speed just doubled. Who even thinks like this? Daniel smirked. They think only the corporation holds the secrets. But sometimes, the ones who walk away know the weaknesses best. Anna stood still, watching them work, tears slipping silently down her cheeks. For the first time in weeks, hope didn't feel so far away. And stores still waited. 4 more to go, and now she had an unexpected ally. Thanks to Daniel's support, the system was more stable than ever. Old clients sighed in relief, and new shops began taking notice. Word spread. Anna's service survived a major crash and came out stronger. Anna seized the moment. With Daniel and David, she worked around the clock, refining the system, doubling its speed. For the first time, during a demo for a new client, the system ran so smoothly even Anna was stunned. In just 10 days, they landed 3 new contracts. The whiteboard number climbed to 75. 1 blank box left, just 1 more store, and she would hit Michael's challenge. But before they could celebrate, an email blast from Company X hit all of Anna's clients. We've noticed some stores being misled by small-time competitors. Remember, only we have the infrastructure to guarantee stability. Alternative systems are high risk. Don't be fooled by pipe dreams. David slammed the desk. They just called us scammers, Anna. Anna clenched her fists. She knew this was psychological warfare. They wanted to shake client confidence just as she neared the finish line. Daniel leaned back, his tone calm but heavy. They've caught your scent. And trust me, they won't stop at an email. That corporation never tolerates small players surviving. Anna looked up at the whiteboard, 75 staring back at her. Her body trembled with fatigue, but her eyes blazed. They can call me anything they want, but I'll prove to my clients we're not a pipe dream. We're reality. The room fell silent, but each of them tightened their fists. It felt as though they had all stepped together into the final battle. 2 days after the smear email, Company X struck again. Their sales teams began going door to door, targeting the very shops using Anna's system. One store owner called Anna, panic in his voice. Anna, they were just here. They offered me a contract 30% cheaper than yours. They even warned that if I keep using your service, I could face legal risks because you don't have the big licenses they do. I don't know what to do. More bad news followed. 3 other shops reported the same visits. David's face drained of color. Anna, if they flip even a few clients, we'll drop back below 72 immediately. The room was suffocatingly silent. Then Anna rose, her eyes steady. Fine, if they want to play this game, I won't hide. I'll meet our clients face to face and tell them exactly why we're here. The next day, Anna, Daniel, and David rushed to the stores being courted by Company X. She carried no glossy contracts, no flashy discounts, only the truth. In one crowded shop, Anna raised her voice. Yes, I don't have billions. I don't have a 1,000-person team. But when my system crashed, I showed up in the middle of the night to fix it. When clients call at 2 a.m., I answer. Will that corporation do the same? Or are you just a number to them? The room fell quiet. Then Linda, the very first client, stepped forward, standing at Anna's side. I choose her because she never leaves me alone. Applause broke out from a few loyal customers in the store. The owner looked around, hesitated, then nodded. All right, Anna, I'm staying. Anna nearly choked with emotion, but she held it back, offering only a firm smile. It was a small battle won, but she knew Company X wouldn't stop here. The battle with Company X dragged on, tense and relentless. But amid the pressure, opportunity came. One afternoon, Anna got a call from the owner of a convenience chain with 8 locations. His voice was rough but firm. "I've heard about you from Linda and others. You're not the cheapest, but everyone says you show up when it counts. I want to meet tonight." Anna's heart pounded. If she closed this deal, she wouldn't just reach 76, she'd surpass it. The team scrambled. David polished the demo, Daniel fine-tuned the system, and Anna rehearsed her pitch in the mirror. Emily slipped her a tiny note. "Mommy, you can do it. I believe in you." The meeting was held in the chain's modest office. The owner listened silently, eyes fixed on every number. When Anna finished, he leaned back, arms crossed. "You've got guts, Anna, but I need one final proof. If your system runs smoothly in my largest store for the next 3 days, I'll sign." The next 3 days, Anna's team barely slept. They camped at the store, fixing glitches on the spot, guiding staff through every scan. On the second night, the system froze for 5 minutes. Sweat broke out everywhere, but Daniel saved it in time. By the third night, sales had jumped 15% above average. The owner grabbed the contract and signed with a decisive stroke. "All right, Anna, you've got all 8 of my stores," the room erupted. David leapt in the air, Daniel laughed out loud, and Anna broke into tears, clutching Emily tightly. The whiteboard now blazed past 76, the impossible milestone, conquered, Anna whispered, her voice trembling but proud. "Michael, I did it." News of Anna signing the 8-store chain spread like wildfire in the retail world. People whispered, "Did that single mom really pull it off? Did she just beat Company X?" Anna didn't care much about the chatter. What mattered was the whiteboard number had surpassed 76, yet deep down, she knew Michael's challenge wasn't truly over. 3 days later, a short message arrived. "Anna, meet me, office, tomorrow." 10 a.m., the familiar boardroom opened once again. This time Michael wasn't alone. 2 new investors sat beside him, flipping through documents stamped with Anna's company logo. Michael looked at her, a rare smile breaking across his face. "Congratulations, Anna. You did what even I once thought was madness. From 38 to 76 stores in a single month. I lost a bet with myself." One of the new investors spoke up. "Those numbers aren't just impressive. They prove the model can scale. We want in." Anna clenched her fists, her heart racing. This was the moment every single mom who had been laughed out of a boardroom, who had cried over a dying laptop, who had held her child through sleepless nights, dreamed of. Michael leaned forward, his eyes sharp. "But before this goes further, Anna, remember this. You're no longer just a mom trying to survive. You're stepping into the arena of giants. Are you ready?" Anna drew a deep breath, meeting his gaze. No fear remained, only the light of resolve. "I was ready the day they laughed at me. Today, I'm just proving them wrong." The room seemed to ignite. A new chapter in Anna's journey had begun. On the table lay the contract, a thick stack of pages filled with fine print. Anna held the pen, her hand trembling slightly. She knew once she signed, her life would never be the same. Michael explained, "This is a venture fund specializing in scaling promising startups. They're ready to invest $2 million immediately for 25% equity. With this capital, you can upgrade infrastructure, hire a team, and expand nationwide." The room seemed to hold its breath. David whispered, "Anna, $2 million. We could buy proper servers, hire engineers. No more patching bugs all night." But Anna didn't rush. She read line by line, stopping at one clause. "The fund retains veto power over all strategic decisions." She looked up, meeting Michael's and the investor's eyes. "I'll agree to 25% equity, but this company cannot be controlled from the outside. I'll share profits, I'll be transparent, but this dream has to be steered by me, no one else." The air tightened. The 2 investors exchanged glances before one replied, "You know, very few would dare say that in this moment." "Fine, we'll drop the veto clause. But remember, once we fund you, you must triple growth within a year. Fail, and there won't be a second chance." Anna bit her lip, then signed boldly. The ink carved her destiny into the page. Walking out of the boardroom, Anna felt both lighter and heavier. $2 million. Her dream had just been fueled, but the weight on her shoulders had multiplied. She squeezed Emily's hand and whispered, "From now on, Mommy isn't just building a company for us. I'm building an empire." The funding came through quickly, and everything changed almost overnight. The cramped office with its old whiteboard was replaced by a spacious, modern space with a reception area and a private conference room. David walked in, eyes wide. "Anna, I can't believe this is our company. We used to squeeze into corners. Now we've even got a coffee machine." Anna smiled, but tension lingered inside. She knew money alone wouldn't build a company. It was how they used it. And she couldn't let $2 million become a burden. Within weeks, Anna hired 10 new engineers, 3 sales reps, and an operations manager. Daniel was promoted to head of engineering. He worked tirelessly, moving the system to a cloud infrastructure capable of serving thousands of stores simultaneously. Growth exploded. From 76 stores, the number shot up to 120, then 150. Media outlets began to take notice, dubbing Anna the single mom CEO challenging a tech giant. A major newspaper ran the headline, "From laughed out to retail empire, the story of single mom CEO Anna." Emily proudly carried the paper to school, showing it to her classmates. For the first time, she wasn't shy about mentioning her mother. She beamed. "My mom isn't just a single mom. She's a CEO." But as the spotlight grew, so did the pressure. At every meeting, investors asked, "When will you hit 500 stores? When will you expand internationally?" Anna knew the game was no longer about survival. It had become a ruthless race to prove she truly deserved the title of billion-dollar empire. A year later, Anna's company had over 500 stores in its system. The media hailed her as a phenomenon. She was called the single mom CEO, rewriting the rules of retail. She was invited to speak at an international conference. As she stepped onto the stage, lights blazing and thousands rising to applaud, she smiled, remembering the day she was laughed out of a boardroom. It all felt like a dream. But behind the spotlight, another truth loomed. Anna had missed countless moments with Emily. Birthdays, school plays. She wasn't there. One night, coming home late, Anna found Emily waiting on the couch, eyes wet. "Mommy, I know you're busy, but I just want you with me." The words cut deep. Anna pulled her daughter into her arms, holding her tight. That night, she didn't sleep, thinking about what truly mattered. The next day, in a meeting with investors, someone asked, "Anna, when are we going public? When do we go global?" Anna paused, then smiled. Her voice was calm, yet carried across the room. "We'll keep growing. But I won't trade my family for numbers. I'm not building an empire just to be absent in my daughter's life. My success isn't just thousands of stores. It's showing Emily that her mom can do anything and still be a mother." Silence filled the room. Then Michael smiled and nodded. "That's exactly why you're different, Anna. And that's why you win." The story closed with Anna not only as a billion-dollar CEO, but as a symbol for millions that no one has the right to laugh at a single mom's dream. Because when fueled by love and grit, that dream can shake the world.